Why would a young, rising football star, someone with everything to look forward to, someone on the edge of the NFL, choose to end his life? Or was it something else entirely? Kyren Lacy, former LSU wide receiver, was just 24 years old. He had the world at his feet, a promising career ahead, and dreams that millions of athletes would envy. But then, on the night of April 13th, 2025, everything changed. A police chase, a crash, and then tragedy. Kyren Lacy was found dead in his car from a gunshot wound. Authorities say it was a suicide. But could it be that simple? Was it really suicide? Or was there something far darker at play? What drove him to such a drastic act? Was it the weight of the charges against him, the pressure of his career, or something deeper that no one knew about? And if it was suicide, what pushed him to that breaking point? If not, who's truly responsible? This story has more twists and turns than we ever imagined. Let's dive into the mystery behind Kyren Lacy's tragic end. First, let's talk about who was Kyren Lacy? Kyren Lacy was more than just another college football player. He was a young man with incredible talent, drive, and a dream of making it to the NFL. At 24 years old, Lacy had become a star for LSU, Louisiana State University, known for his impressive skills on the field. He was a standout wide receiver with speed, precision, and hands that made defenders look foolish. He had all the qualities scouts and fans dream of, and his future was filled with promise. But beneath the surface of this rising star, there was a story much darker than anyone could have imagined. Kyren's life wasn't just about football. His journey had its own struggles, both on and off the field, that no one saw coming. Kyren's career began at Louisiana Lafayette, where he quickly made a name for himself. His athleticism was undeniable, and he quickly became one of the team's most promising players. But it wasn't long before the eyes of bigger programs began to notice. LSU, one of the most prestigious football programs in the country, recruited him. And it wasn't just because of his size or speed. It was his mentality, his work ethic, and his hunger to be great. Moving to LSU was a game changer for Kyren. It was where he truly began to shine. He wasn't just part of the team. He was the star. His incredible work ethic and his ability to perform under pressure made him one of the top wide receivers in the nation. By his junior year at LSU, Kyren Lacy was making waves. He finished the season with 58 catches, 866 yards, and 9 touchdowns, leading the team in scoring. He had proven himself, both as an athlete and as a future NFL prospect. As he entered the NFL draft conversation, analysts like Mel Kiper Jr. ranked him among the top wide receiver prospects for 2025. Things were looking up. Everything seemed to be falling into place. Kyren was so close. Just days before declaring for the NFL draft, he had one of the best seasons of his career. He was a hot commodity in the NFL scouting world, but just days before taking that next step in his life, tragedy struck. Kyren Lacy became involved in a car accident on December the 17th, 2024, a crash that tragically took the life of a 78-year-old man. The aftermath of the accident sent shockwaves through his career and his life. Authorities said Kyren fled the scene of the accident, leading to serious charges against him: negligent homicide, felony hit and run, and reckless operation of a vehicle. Suddenly, the future that had seemed so bright was now clouded by the weight of legal trouble. This event marked a shift in the trajectory of Kyren's life. Just days after the accident, he turned himself into the authorities and was released on bail. But the damage to his reputation had already been done. The media, once focused on his potential in the NFL, now turned its attention to the criminal charges hanging over his head. The pressure began to build. Despite these challenges, Kyren didn't give up. He declared for the 2025 NFL Draft on December 19th, only days after the tragic accident. He participated in LSU's Pro Day, showcasing his talent to NFL scouts, hoping to solidify his spot in the upcoming draft. His performance was strong, but with the legal drama hanging over his head, his future was uncertain. But what no one saw was the mental toll this was taking on Kyren. The legal trouble, the public scrutiny, the pressure to perform, it was a heavy burden. The road to the NFL wasn't just about talent and hard work. It was about surviving the pressure and the weight of expectations. And Kyren, unfortunately, found that the weight became too much. His struggle was one that many young athletes face, but few talk about. The pressure to succeed, to live up to expectations, and to handle fame, all while dealing with personal struggles that no one could see. Kyren's career had been one of promise, talent, and raw ability. But it was also one that was overshadowed by the emotional and psychological struggles he faced in silence. While fans saw the highlight reels, they didn't see the burden of his personal battles. He was a young man who was caught between the dreams of success and the realities of stress, expectations, and legal turmoil. Despite his challenges, Kyren continued to chase his NFL dream. But what no one could have predicted was the tragic way his story would end. On the night of April 13, 2025, after a police pursuit, Kyren was found dead in his car from what appeared to be a self-inflicted gunshot wound. The suddenness of his death left fans, teammates, and family in shock. Kyren Lacy, the rising star, was gone too soon. Kyren's career was one filled with promise and potential, but his life was tragically cut short, leaving behind unanswered questions and a legacy that will forever be remembered. His story serves as a reminder that even the brightest stars can struggle in silence, and that behind every athlete's success story, there's a person who may be facing their own battles. Certainly. Here's the 1,000-character script focused on the incident leading up to Kyren Lacy's death, with a hook and connection to his career. A rising football star with the world at his feet. But what happened on the night of April 13th, 2025, turned his future and his life into tragedy? Kyren Lacy's death shocked everyone. Was it truly suicide, or is there more to this story? Kyren Lacy was found dead on that Saturday night in his car, a victim of an apparent suicide, according to a report by the Harris County, Texas sheriff. But the circumstances surrounding his death raise even more questions. Authorities said that the night started when a family member called the police, reporting a disturbing situation. Kyren had fired a gun into the ground during a heated argument. When officers arrived, Lacy had already fled the scene in his vehicle. The police pursuit ended when Lacy's car crashed, and when they approached, they found him unresponsive, with what appeared to be a self-inflicted gunshot wound. But why did a young man with so much promise, a future NFL career within reach, choose such a drastic step? Was this the tragic end of a young athlete struggling with the pressures of fame and personal battles, or something more sinister at play? A police chase, a sudden crash, and then silence. When officers reached the wrecked vehicle, the scene they found was heart-wrenching. Kyren Lacy, just 24 years old, was already gone, dead from an apparent self-inflicted gunshot wound. The suddenness of his death left fans, teammates, and family in shock. Kyren Lacy, the rising star, was gone too soon. Kyren's career was one filled with promise and potential, but his life was tragically cut short, leaving behind unanswered questions and a legacy that will forever be remembered. His story serves as a reminder that even the brightest stars can struggle in silence, and that behind every athlete's success story, there's a person who may be facing their own battles.